Good day. So my name is Boitumelo Semete-Makokotlela, and I'm the CEO of the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority. By background, I have a PhD in biochemistry and a master's in finance and investment. From a biochemistry perspective, what that means is that I spent many years in the labs mixing chemicals with the intended purpose, though, of understanding diseases. Others who study biochemistry, they do so either to develop diagnostic tests or to go into the area of discovery of medicines. So biotech, is an interesting field because it's where you merge, I would say, the biology and the technology aspect of it, and also using technology to see how you can innovate and advance processes. So a lot of the times, biotechnologies, you find them in the agricultural sector, looking at new ways of cultivating, to be more green, for example. In the health sector, you find them interfacing technologies such as artificial intelligence with the health. And so there are definitely a lot of opportunities in that space because that's where we're seeing a lot of innovation taking place. At a point in a lab, you've got people with different disciplines because to be able to solve these complex problems that we're facing, you do need different skill sets. For example, in my case, when I did my research in nanotechnology drug delivery system, I worked with chemical engineers and material scientists. And then I came as a biochemist. We had some biologists and some pharmacists. And it's because we were looking at how to use material science to deliver anti-TB drugs to reduce the side effects that it gives. And so the pharmacists would help us with understanding the dynamics of the molecules once we've changed them. In my case, I did a lot of the cell studies to understand the impact of the material on the body. And then the chemical engineers and the material scientists would be the one designing the polymers. So more and more we're finding very multidisciplinary teams. But also what it does, it says there's many opportunities out there. You can start off, my undergrad was in genetics and I morphed with time. So you don't have to be, limited to your what you studied in your undergrad. More often than not, you will find that it does change. I grew up in very humble setting, humble beginnings, but filled with joy and love. And, in the home where we grew up in, there were quite a number of us children there with a few adults, and we had to sleep on the floor. I slept on the kitchen floor. But I think the determination to want to have something different, to aspire for more, you grow up thinking, I never want to be in a point where I sleep on the kitchen floor again. My advice for learners is that it's never smooth sailing. None of us could say it went very well from school to varsity to a point where you work. You always hit, those bumps. And it's about how you lift yourself out of it. My first semester at tax, I got too excited about being away from home and having all this freedom, right? Partied a lot. And it showed in my marks. But I quickly had to pivot and say, no, I'm here on a purpose and on a mission. And more so, I think, even for the girl child, who a lot of the times you find that there's a lot on your shoulders, either you're the first to go to varsity or there's a lot of expectations for you from home, right? That go to varsity, get a job and help out at home. And so it puts a lot of pressure. And so the girl child should not shy away from, reaching those goals, being in those careers that are not typically for girls. And the other important thing that I always say is also don't limit yourself to just studying and working in South Africa. We really live in a global village and there's just so many opportunities outside of South Africa. And so I always encourage youngsters to look for bursaries. There's the NRF, there's many other institutions that can give learners an opportunity to go and study outside, because once you've left the country, when you come back, your view on the country, just the confidence that you have as an individual is amazing.